Well, it's hard to believe it's been 12 years since those first images broke onto every television broadcast in the country. 12 years since we watched in horror as thousands of Americans lost their lives at the hands of a terrorist attack. You know, many of those Americans were simply living their lives, going to work, on vacation, in a meeting. Hundreds of others, let's call them heroes, ran toward the building and with the simple mission of protecting others, and they paid the ultimate price for it. Now, in the hours that followed the attacks, thousands of first responders from across the country jumped in their cars, some from California, and many more were called to duty. And in 2001, Captain Anthony Soika was a sergeant with the New York National Guard and was among the initial group on the ground at Ground Zero, arriving just hours after the plane hit. First of all, my friend, thank you and welcome.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for your service. So, tell me what it's like. I know that you actually were coming back from leave and you weren't aware when it first happened. And you were sent there and said you need to go to Manhattan.
Correct. I actually wasn't coming back from leave. I coached at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, and I drove into work that morning and happened to have a CD playing in the car. So I wasn't listening to the radio, really had no idea that anything had occurred. When I got to work, it was a ghost town. I mean, it was like the academy was deserted. And the first thing I thought was there's a meeting I forgot about.
Sure.
And so I went straight to the conference room, and sure enough, everybody was joined there, but they weren't around the table. And they're all joined around the TV, and just as I walked in the room, the second plane hit. Well, the academy is on the North Shore of Long Island Sound, so you can see Manhattan. And the second we saw that on TV, every head just turned and looked out the window.
And you can see it real.
And there it was.
Wow. So you guys arrive at about 2 in the morning, so 14, 15 hours after the first planes hit. What are you seeing? What's going through your head? You get on the ground and it's got to be just smoke and devastation, right?
Correct. It looked a lot like how I imagine Armageddon.
Right.
The smoke and the asbestos and so forth was still in the air. The thing that really stood out to me for the black eye that they took it after Hurricane Katrina, FEMA reacted with just amazing quickness. So there were already cranes and bright light sets to provide light so people could work during the night. But there was the lights made a eerie glow in the smoke and the fog
because it's still smoldering, it's still on fire.
Exactly.
I mean, we're talking hours after, so it's still smoke. I mean, is it chaos or is it even organized? Is it just there's firemen and policemen running everywhere? What are you seeing?
It wasn't chaos. The best way I can describe it is everybody was walking around in a state of shock. I mean, the monstrosity, the hugeness of these buildings can't be overstated.
Right.
I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where the tallest building in the state was 51 stories.
Right.
Here you've got 2 buildings that are each 110. The rubble alone was 10, 11 stories high.
Sure.
It was just absolutely amazing. And but when we first got there, it's not that there was nobody in charge, but this doesn't happen every day.
Sure.
So
you don't train. I mean, you do a lot of military training and police critical response, but you don't train for the World Trade Center to come crashing down in the middle of Manhattan.
So you get there and everybody's looking at each other with this sense of, what do I do? Where do I go? Somebody lead me. And even the people in charge are awestruck.
Yeah. Wow. So at that point, we got just a few seconds left, Kev. But you're in charge of guarding, and so I know you would share with us, kind of walking through the next couple of days on patrol, and there's just nobody.
Correct. Lower Manhattan is an area where a studio apartment could easily run you $2 million.
Right.
So just a huge accumulation of wealth. I mean, we were right by Wall Street. And as we walked around on September 12th and 13th, it was deserted. A buddy of mine and I wandered 2 or 3 blocks south, and you'd have thought you were the last men on Earth after a nuclear holocaust.
Wow, that's chilling. It really is, Captain. We're going to come back with you in a little while, and I know you actually have a special connection, something you had found, an artifact you had found while walking around in the deserted Manhattan. And it's made kind of a cool connection. I want you to share that story with us in just a little bit. We're going to continue with Captain Anthony Soika from the United States Army. He's actually stationed here at Fort Jackson, but he was there. He was there, a sergeant, and one of the first on the ground when the planes hit 12 years ago. Stay with us. We're going to continue to remember 9/11 on this special edition of Good Day Columbia.